Hello my friends, I'm Wrecking Little Missy sitting over here. Welcome to your seat at the table, and we are looking at issue number 20 of the Battletechnology, the magazine combat of the 31st century, up to our necks, right? I have reviewed a good chunk of these. I have 3 more sitting out there on my table next to my where I usually crash out there. That I have yet to get the binders on because I was tired when I was trying to mess with them, and these little ones can be a deuce to get on. So I got 3 more, and there was also an issue number 8, the original batch that was donated to me of all the PDFs. That particular one still has a read-write protection in place, so it would not allow me to download it or copy it. I could read it on the computer, as through the program, but I couldn't do anything else with it. On the other hand, recently, one of you fine folks sent me a very extensive PDF library of BattleTech. There is a lot of stuff in here. Most of it I have already got, and I've have shown on the channel, or have yet to get around to printing and reading. But there was quite a few things that I don't have that right off the bat I could see in here. And one of them is they have the entire 25 copy of Battletechnology in there, which means I'll look at issue 8 for sure to see if I can download it and print it. And then I'll be able to go down through my list of what I've got and make sure that I've covered everything, and see if there's anyone missing. They're all in here now. And I think there's at least one TRO in here too that I saw that I don't have, and I'm looking forward to getting into that one. So hey guys, I really appreciate you sending it. It got to me, all right. And like I said, keep everybody anonymous, because I'm not trying to step on nobody's toes. I've had some stuff in the past that were given to me in a circumventive route from people who have official ties to CGL, and or so they say. I don't know them personally, but I'm also not trying to step on their toes. I don't want to hurt nobody's situation, and I'm grateful, utterly grateful for it, because I wouldn't have it if it just is what it is. So yeah, this is Battletechnology. Was a whopping $5, right? Up to our next. What year was this year? I usually put the date right off the bat, and sometimes I can't find the date right without a lot of trouble. I ain't gonna lie, I'm having a little trouble focusing right now too, because I am, like I said, I am dog tired. And I'll be out all night tonight. So I'm fixing it to be my last video of the morning. I've done several, and then I'm going to go take a bloody nap. Alright, because I'll be out, like I said, all night long. We have contents. ComStar splits up. Hanse Davion remembered. Intersecting lines. The Saga of the Amaris star. A soldier's luck. MechTac house department. Alright, so we got, you guys did good. Alright, opening shot. Say we got ComStar Truth betrays truth with the clans. 3052. Clan occupied planets across the inner sphere. ComGuard's forces attack clan garrisons at the same time. In many cases, planetary militia garrisons sided with the clans against ComStar. Imagine that. Shake up in ComStar. Yeah, that caused a big brouhaha. ComStar splits. No new orders, says Maury. So this is where we see the birth of the Word of Blake. Alright. Imagine if their coup had succeeded. Anyway, Karita limits the ComStar agreement. Federated Commonwealth signed for 15 years. ComStar to remain in Razahad. Yeah, because Razahad was down to 7 planets and 7 systems and almost nothing for military. Yeah, they needed all the help they could get. ComStar seeks accord with the Compellents. Merrick refuses to be pushed. False Merrick, the bastard, depending on who you believe and who you talk to. Maury invites the leaders to a peace summit. Terra, March 30, 53. Right. And we got ComStar's peace summit a failure? Probably so. Hanse Davion passes away. Hanse Davion remembered. Hanse's last words. hence Davion's particular aggression. Intersecting lines, part 3 of the tale of the Cobalt Coil. Live from the factory. Okay. I always like these stories. They give you flavor. They give you extra flavor. Just adds more lived-in feel to the game environment as a whole, in my opinion, anyway. So, the Saga of the Amaris Star. So it's like a little MechWarrior campaign, mini campaign. The Soldier's Luck. I think it's another mini campaign, but I don't know if it's battle troops or what. It's just a story. I think it's just a story. Mucky time. Optional rules for Quicksand. As if we didn't have enough problems on the battlefield, we're going to add Quicksand too. But it's always nice to have the options, because you never know when a scenario is going to happen, and you'll say, well, it's like he fell in quicksand. Oh no, what does he do? I know. I have rules set for it. We just have to agree to let it work. One man, one death. Optional alternate rules for infantry versus mech combat. That was always one of the unrealistic components of the combat, is when you sit there and go, okay, well, I have an infantry platoon out here, and I have a flamer. I mean, I got a fire starter over here. We're just going to torch the whole damn infantry platoon. And so, by definition, you just lit up 100 people, or 60 or 70 people, 30 people, depending on the platoon size, I guess. You just remove an icon from the board, and the entire platoon of people are gone because you torched them with a flamer. Sure, because you can do that, and sometimes you have to. But the reality of it is, it doesn't make sense. If I got an autocannon and I turn it loose on a platoon, I should not be able to wipe out the entire goddamn platoon. Now, ideally, how that argues in points-wise is that platoons of infantry units are assigned in units to give them some substance versus an individual. So in a lance, for example, the lance is made up, or the star is made up of X amount of vehicles, or X amount of mechs. Well, the same equivalent would be, a mech lance would be a platoon of infantry, although you can make the argument a company at that scale might be more appropriate, but a platoon, and then of that platoon, the platoon is constituting 3 or more squads. So if I have a platoon of 30 people plus the lieutenant in charge, so we got 31 people, and I have 5 squads of 6, or 5 squads of 6, or 6 squads of 4. Kind of scenario, however that would play out. And so if you divide that up, or I have 3 squads of 10, there's 10 dudes to a squad, and now we have a damage factor that applies to the unit. So the unit occupying that hex is made up of maybe 3 squads of a platoon, and your autocannon decimates one of those 3 squads and delivers X amount of damage, which eliminates X amount of troopers, kind of stuff. So having the mechanics for these things, we don't care about it until you want to care about it. So once again, it's always nice to have that go-to. And I don't know if that ever became normal canon for the combat system. If you know, by all means, let me know too. Random inclinations for NPCs for MechWarrior 2 and BattleTech. So we got leadership role results, leadership, courage, care, aggression, new command, lessons, tactics, and the Tao of Tact. Sure. Right. Soldier's Luck, scenarios, opening act. Paratroopers. Yeah. Aerospace combat where you're dropping paratroopers. Yeah, that's got to be ugly. King of the Hill. So we get into MechTac. The CTP-005 Clytemnestra. Do not ask me how to pronounce that. 65-ton Solaris arms. So this is something that was Yeah, operated on the Solaris gaming circuit for 40 years, so one off. Frankenstein's monster. See, this is one of those things where I go on about every now and then about how the game originally was played. Salvage was important, and it was so important, and in some aspects was as much fun as dealing with the combat side of things, was trying to become combat worthy. And when you had a mercenary unit, and you say a mercenary company, and back in the late 80s, early 90s, and you were following the salvage and the construction rules verbatim, you literally felt that mechs were rare and expensive, and parts were hard to come by. So salvage matters. Salvage matters a lot. And then you would end up accumulating a bunch of salvage, and it end up developing your own junkyard somewhere. And keeping in mind that if you're a merc unit and you're on the go, you can only carry so much salvage with you. You wouldn't have your own junkyard on the fly on a regular basis. So either you have a base of operations somewhere and you haul all this extra junk back there, so you develop that junkyard of parts, or you manufacture somehow of where they go. But at the end of the day, you still end up accumulating a whole slew of not necessarily compatible parts. And then you find yourself in a situation where I field 12 mechs, but 4 of them are down for various repairs or missing components. Like, my rifleman is down because it lost its leg and I don't have a replacement for the leg, and I'm waiting to find one, or to find a place to purchase one. And then where I've managed to purchase one, and now I'm waiting for the 6 months it'll take for it to show up. Well, how does that matter? Well, that matters is that in future engagements with my company is going to be operating at a third of its capacity, or 2/3 of its capacity, because I have the equivalent of an entire lance of my company down for repairs or missing components. So, and how do you cope with that? How do you stay functional? And especially if you're on a duty post that gets more than regular visits, and your house isn't able to fill in all the necessary logistics chain that you find yourself in a bad spot over. How do you deal with it? So the Frankenstein monster, and this is not the first entry for something like this. There's a couple others scattered through the various Thorpe books and magazines and shit over the decades. But the idea being is that most mechs, the concept behind how a bipedal mech works is similar. So for that matter, a lot of weight classes are similar enough. So for example, the Wolverine and the Griffin and the Shadowhawk actually all fall into a certain category, but they're also following a lot of manufacturing similarities, including displacement and how they function. And so if you were to use the Griffin leg on a Wolverine, it would be acceptable, but you would not be able to use the Wolverine's leg on a Marauder, because the Marauder's leg configurations would be totally impossible for it to function. You could not put a Marauder leg and a non-Marauder leg on the same chassis, because they would not sync together in any way whatsoever. So that's not a thing. But there are lots of other things that you can do and get away with, and that's where you call the Frankenstein mech. So these are always nice additional rules, and when they crop up, because there's always that inevitable somebody goes, I don't want to be dispossessed, I'm going to slap together all this junk on the field and try to put something in motion. And we actually have mechanics that allow us for it, how to do it and how to handle it. That, my friends, is a good game system. May never want them, may never need them, but we got them. So, till next time, I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'm hoping to have a little more time on my hands next weekend. I'm still playing catch up with the truck. The truck is up and running right now. Keeps that way. I'm making headway on jobs, but there's still more to do. And I know I got about a dozen I know that I have yet to even look at that are overdue now. And of course, some of them they all follow in certain windows, so a lot of them only want mornings, and some of them only want specific days at specific times, and that can be a problem. I have one little restaurant that's supposed to have been done a month and a half ago, and you know, it only lets me do them on Monday mornings, and I'll be out all night tonight. By the time I get done at like 6 in the morning, I don't want to sit around in my truck for 2 hours in a guy's parking lot waiting for them to show up. I want to go home and go to bed. And I have done that. That's why I've got to the point where I won't do it no more. It's just too much. It's too much. You know, I don't give a shit if I have the rest of the damn day off or not. Unless that guy's literally screaming because he's got a problem, you know, sorry, Marino, we have to get you on a different day. And that's hopefully the next Monday after this one, because once again, these big overnight jobs have to go somewhere, and generally it's a Sunday night or it's a Friday night. In some cases, like this weekend, it's both, just to get them done. You know, some of them pair up. The IHOP I did Friday night and I did last night, it's every 3 months, so it won't be due for another 3 months. The Pancheros that I'm doing tonight, on the other hand, that is every month. So a month from now, we'll be doing it again, truck running. And then I have the same outfit. They own another place that we do every 2 months, and the third one we do every month and a half. And yeah, you know, and they don't go anywhere. And these are big jobs, and the company makes good money on them. So I don't want to pass up on them. Unfortunately, with these big jobs, I could do 3 or 4 or 5 smaller jobs in that same 10-hour window, you know, depending on what they are. So anyway, till next week, till next time, guys, have yourself a great weekend. Looks like spring's here. Spring's coming. It's a little windy and chilly out there today, but that's fine. I ain't going out there till later this evening anyway. You know, Missy's got the right idea. She's over there. She listened to me running my mouth the last 2 hours. She's just falling asleep like everybody else does. So I think I'm fixing to go do the same thing. It just irritates me.